Hello and welcome everybody back to Fresh from the Trollbox, the BitMEX Trader podcast in our 22nd episode together with our CEO Stefan Glutz. Hey Stefan, how are you and how has your week been trading?
Uzi, what a question. You've been in that week too, right? I mean, that was I would say the first real crazy week of bull run. So it's really there, you see it. Everything you need for a proper bull market is there. Exuberance, excitement, surprises, right? Good performance. Before we speak about the market, because that was important to us, and I'm quite happy that we are making progress. I don't know, but I think we spoke about that way back once. Actually, we used the bear market to start a major overhaul of our engine and core infrastructure. And actually, we had a huge discussion about that. We started with implementing that. So there will be a couple of implementing steps from now in the next 6-8 weeks, basically, where we basically overhaul everything to be ready to cater for such a market like times 10. So we had a plant maintenance yesterday, which ran well within the boundaries of the planned timelines. Never an easy thing to do that in a market situation where you have high volumes. I mean, we were lucky we choose exactly the time where there was low volatility. So credits to the tech teams here to actually be as aggressive to pull through and not delay. So we are on time. And then just for the overall market, there's more to come. We will become better and better as we have promised. So it was a little bit like crazy market plus crazy implementation and overhaul, which is then I'm happy when this week will be over. So, but with that one, let's turn to the market. Amazing market, the largest green candle since 2021 in Bitcoin. Yeah, you just showed the charts. Amazing, actually. This is what we all like, right? So with two things, A is much more to come, and at the same time, the chance to even earn with going short when we have the usual setbacks here. So for me, and you put it on, this is what I traded. I traded really heavily this week. Bitcoin, of course, we are Bitcoiners. Ethereum, Solana, finally making up for the underperformance of the weeks before. Crazy stuff. I mean, and again, I mean, you know me quite now. I traded a little bit of WorldCoin, for me, the most uncorrelated crypto asset in the crypto ecosystem. Amazing as well. So, but yeah, it speaks for itself. Amazing week, amazing volumes, amazing week. And we go into that in a couple of seconds because some stuff is really going crazy. I mean, the question here is what's next, right? Resistance levels, what will happen? So, and we spoke about that earlier. You're looking at that quite thoroughly and very quantitatively. Let's just have a view on this.
Yeah, it's actually interesting, right? Just looking at sort of zooming out on Bitcoin a little bit and how we broke through resistances. This is a great chart that actually shows from our friend from Material Indicators that shows a little bit what was the buying behavior this last couple of weeks. So this is the view since mid-February until end of February. And up here, you can basically see whenever it is more light colored, there is stronger, larger order quantities, so potentially resistances. And you can see we had a decline in small orders, right? Anybody say selling or buying more than less than 1,000 has been consistently declining. On the other hand, everybody buying, selling more than 10K or up to 1 million even, or more than 1 million has been consistently going up. So the more the price action was upwards, the more we see the big guys buying and selling. And obviously looking at the resistances that we had this week, so just zooming in into the left side here, we've basically struggled with the 52K for quite a bit. There were very strong resistances here, the thick yellow line at the 53K level. But once we crushed this, it was an easy path up. You can see immediately here, it immediately vanished. It doesn't even touch the price action anymore. So basically everybody reshuffled their orders and was like, okay, clear direction now upwards towards the 60K really. And then at the 60K line, we do see that there is a fair bit of resistance. We're currently above it. So I think it's fair to say that the 60K should hold for some time. That is for the Bitcoin prices, of course. And I mean, with this, right, we really justify an incredible price action within February from early February being somewhere in the 40K range to now well above 60K. And that is, as you said, not just for ETH, not just for Bitcoin, but also for ETH, for Doge, for actually many of the altcoins, which is what we should be looking at, right? So compared to Bitcoin, what have been the main gainers? And looking at the 30-day line, we see your favorite and famous Worldcoin in the high ups. We see a fair bit of AI related coins here. We see Uniswap and a few other classic DeFi tokens, but very obviously also we see Dogwifhat, PayPay, Bonk. On the 7-day line, we also see Dogecoin like outperforming Bitcoin by a fair share. So we're back to old season, which means be careful, right?
I mean, you, Uzi, you know, I guess our viewers not so much. But I originally was very certain that we will have a setback, especially in Bitcoin before the halving. In a little bit, as you say, if we hold the 60K line and basically manage to get above 64, I guess we will see even all-time highs before the halving. I mean, so there is optimism, I would say, around this. And what this shows, and the outflow of that, how you can trade on it, is even more interesting. But the thing with that is, for me, this is natural, because we're in crypto. Crypto has an underlying narrative, business use case, etc., etc. I wrote about that, I spoke about that. But in short term, it's about behavior. And if you have a 10% hike in an hour, basically, in Bitcoin, the next thing you know, if you're longer in the market, altcoins will follow. So you desperately get out of your position at a profit and try to reinvest. Where do you reinvest? You invest into stuff that you have heard about. You're not going into macro analysis, what is the underlying use case of an L1 or of a specific coin. You basically go by name, and this is what you see here. So that this week, especially the meme coins outpaced Bitcoin. I think that's just a natural, right? But what we see with the big orders that you mentioned, and this behavioral aspect in the market, where we have the first crazy week for me really crazy week of bull run, is when you look at funding rates. It is profitable just to trade crypto for funding rates if you do it in the correct way, right?
Yeah, we've spoken about it in the past, right? Whenever there's a bull market, it's also a great time to look for cash and carry trades to do the base trade. And what we see here is basically an annualized version of the funding rate, considering kind of expected APRs. And you can see wherever it shifts into the yellow line, right, in the last couple of days, we see funding rates increasing consistently across the board. But extreme ranges coming to on the meme coins, on selected altcoins. I think this morning we saw Solana somewhere in the 160, 180% APR equivalent. Now, obviously, those are based on 8-hour interest payments, right? So they may or may not actually yield that for the full year. But I mean, just showing here how much more yellow we see here is really an indication of APRs are going up, funding rates are going up, base trade opportunities are there, as well as obviously, people are taking more risk, higher orders, right? That's everybody starts to be a bit more greedy potentially too.
But it shows as well, the whole world knows we are Bitcoiners. So this is why I love trading on BitMEX, because you actually go for Bitcoin margin. And if I win, I have more Bitcoin than before, and I made the profit. I mean, what else do you want? So really, guys, look out.
Exactly. And with that,
yes.
should we ask our magic cube?
Well, I know what I will do, but let's see what the magic cube will say.
All right, let's see. Oh,
yeah, of course.
Who would have guessed? Let's wish for this. Do you reckon we're going to see an all-time high next week, or do you actually think we'll hover here for a moment?
It's difficult. It's like, actually, from my personality, I bet against my own team. So I would say we hover around a little bit, so that if we hover around a little bit around those levels, I'm happy because my prediction was right. And if we see all-time high, I'm happy because my position went up. Right? So
Hold yourself. Yeah. Emotional hedge. I understand.
yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Stefan. Have a great weekend.
We
Talk
can.
next week.
Bye.